Renee, I retired 3 years ago, and this is the first time I've had a pair of dress shoes on, and the second time I've had a tie on, so I made a real sacrifice. It's an honor to be one of the inaugural Hockey Hall of Fame inductees, and I really want to thank you, Renee, for creating this Hockey Hall of Fame, because these things don't just happen. I mean, there's been a lot of work put into this, and you did basketball and baseball, and this is going to be something that in Albany is going to be a real big deal. Anyway, there were also two teams inducted here tonight. The Islanders' accomplishment of winning 4 straight Stanley Cups in the 80s is a part of NHL history, along with all the great players in these teams. And there's quite a few of them here tonight. Sadly, a couple of them are gone, but there's some good ones here. The 1980 U.S. Olympic team will be forever remembered for what they accomplished in Lake Placid. And I think the important thing here is this had a great effect on the success of USA Hockey in developing male and female players in all parts of the country. And I think, Lou, you would agree with me on that one. As youngsters, we all had dreams of what we wanted to be when we grew up. All I thought about was playing for the Montreal Canadiens. It didn't quite turn out that way, but I did have a 38-year relationship with them. This began in Fredericton, New Brunswick in 1963. I was playing midget hockey, and Scotty Bowman came to see me play. At the time, Scotty was the Eastern Canada scout for Montreal. And in the 1960s, Montreal sponsored 2 junior A teams in the Ontario Hockey Association. They were the Peterborough Petes and the Montreal Junior Canadiens. Scotty took me to Peterborough, where I played for 2 years, and this was before the draft. So when I signed to play there, the Canadians owned my pro rights for as long as they wanted. It's a lot different now. Players get drafted and they own you, but they don't own you forever. But back then they did. I think it was called a C form that you signed. These 2 years played a big role in developing my hockey skills when I went to Peterborough. I learned how to be independent and deal with people, which I think helped me in everything I've done since then. Leaving home at the age of 16 wasn't an easy thing to do, but my life was a little easier because my roommate for those 2 years was Danny Grant. And we were best friends in both of Fredericton. And, you know, back then it was such a big deal to leave, but now I'm thinking, on our Ice Cats teams, we had 3 kids from England, 1 kid from California, and they're here like they're 15, 16 years old. It's no big deal. Kids go everywhere now. It's like, it's a whole new world. After my second year as junior, I decided that going to college was the best thing for me to do. I got a hockey scholarship at RPI here in Troy. College hockey was great for me, and I flourished under my coach, Gary Kearns. After graduation, I attended my first training camp in Montreal. I played well, but I decided to come back to RPI, get my master's degree, and take a job in the research division at RPI. And that probably wasn't the best hockey decision I ever made, but it created a long-term relationship with RPI. The general manager of the Canadiens was Sam Pollock. He arranged for me to play part-time for the Clinton Comets, the Eastern Hockey League. And then the next year I took a leave of absence from my job and played there full-time. And after 2 years in the Eastern League, I took the next year off to recharge my batteries because some wild things happened in the Eastern League. Then I went to my second training camp in Montreal, and unfortunately I separated my shoulder in an exhibition game, and my chance of playing pro hockey was essentially over. At the time, Ron Caron was the assistant general manager of the Canadiens, and he offered me a scouting job. My responsibilities included scouting high school, prep school, junior, and college players in the Northeastern United States. And I did this while still working at RPI. Ron and I became good friends. He was very passionate about the game of hockey, and there wasn't anything he wouldn't do for you. And I think there may be a couple of inductees here tonight that may have known Ronnie. And when I talked to one of them about Ronnie, he smiled and he said, yeah, he was pretty passionate in the ring. But people that don't know me, I have no idea what I'm talking about. So, during the 70s, Montreal had what I thought were one of the best teams in all sports, and they were led by great players such as Guy Lafleur, and sadly we lost him recently. My scouting lasted for 28 years, and during that time we won 6 Stanley Cups. And one of the other sidelights that I did was I refereed college hockey during the 70s and 80s, and I was lucky enough to referee 2 USA Olympic and RPI games at the Fieldhouse in Troy. Now, on to what I guess I'm supposed to be here for. In the early 1990s, 2 of my daughters were playing boys hockey in Troy. I wanted to get them away from body checking, so I started a girls team, which we named the Troy Albany Ice Cats. This grew into a girls program, and over the years we've won 5 state titles and been to nationals twice. And more than 80 of our graduates have gone on to play women's college hockey at the Division I, III, and club levels. We have provided a safe, positive environment for our players and quality coaches to develop their skills. I coached 2 of my daughters with the Ice Cats and enjoyed watching them both be successful players with the RPI women's team. And 2 of my granddaughters are now Ice Cats and are following in their mother's footsteps. There comes a point in your life when you have achieved most of your personal goals, and I think it's important to stay involved and help others as much as possible, and that's what I've tried to do with the Ice Cats. It takes a lot of work, and a majority of the time the results have been good, and it's great to see how competitive and skilled these players are, and the most important thing has been preparing these young ladies for college. Hockey has been an important part of the lives for all the inductees here tonight, and I'm lucky to have been involved as a player, coach, scout, and referee, and these are all special memories for me. In closing, I would just like to say again that I'm grateful for being inducted into the inaugural class of the New York State Hockey Hall of Fame, and wish all the best to the other inductees. And I'm especially glad that my whole family, right over there, and many of my friends are here to enjoy this ceremony with me. Thanks.